Here's a question for you. Why would any country, willingly send multi-billion-dollar weapons systems? We're talking advanced fighter jets, naval ships, the whole nine yards, to another nation just for testing. And here's the kicker. Essentially for free with no obvious immediate political payoff.
It sounds like a terrible business model, doesn't it?
A truly awful one. But here's the thing about the global defense industry. Glossy ads and brochures, they mean absolutely nothing.
What matters is performance. Real-world, certified results that have been validated by someone you can trust.
And that's where this whole story gets really interesting.
It is fascinating. What our sources really lay out is a dynamic built on decades of earned trust, what the industry calls strategic credit.
And that credit belongs to Thailand.
Exactly. They aren't a military superpower. They don't manufacture these systems, but they've built this reputation as a brutally effective filter for military hardware before it hits the global market.
So our mission for you today is to really unpack that secret status. We're going to dive into why the world's biggest manufacturers want to see the Thai military's name on their field reports.
And we'll look at the unique gauntlet air, sea, and land that makes those reports the gold standard for durability. It's not just about making a sale.
No, it's about getting a global stamp of approval.
That's it. If a piece of gear passes through Thailand, it suddenly goes from just being an option on a list to being a global reference point.
Okay, so let's get right into it. If we strip away all the geopolitics, the sales pitches, what's the one core thing that makes Thailand so necessary for these trials?
It's the environmental gauntlet, plain and simple.
And we're not just talking about it being a bit warm.
Oh, not even close. We're talking about operating, continuously in one of the most challenging environments on the planet. Extreme heat, humidity that pushes past 90%.
And the monsoon rains.
Torrential rains. But it's also the geographic diversity. You have everything packed into one place.
Right. Dense forests, mountains, big cities, coastlines.
It's impossible to simulate in a lab. And the crucial distinction here, the thing that makes all the difference, is this isn't a weekend demo in an air-conditioned hangar.
This is continuous real-world use by real personnel on real missions. It's like an automatic stress test that's just always on.
Precisely. And that constant stress finds the weaknesses. A system might work perfectly in a cool, dry European climate.
But after 6 months in Southeast Asian humidity,
things start to fail, things you'd never expect. Electronics corrode, moving parts seize up. And that data, the information on why it failed, that's the prize.
Because if you know why your antenna array is failing, you can fix it. Not just for Thailand, but for the entire global market.
That's the billion-dollar information. And it's why that strategic credit we mentioned matters so much. Manufacturers have to trust the feedback they're getting.
They trust Thailand, to be honest, to report the good and the bad.
Unflinchingly honest. They're known for not hiding flaws, not fudging the results to make a supplier happy. There's no political game being played.
So why is that? Why did that reputation for integrity build up there, specifically?
It seems to come back to their operational discipline. For the Thai Armed Forces, this equipment isn't for show. It's a tool for national security. It has to work, period.
So they're too serious about their own defense to accept anything but the absolute truth about their gear.
That's the long and short of it. And that seriousness is why manufacturers believe that if a system can survive the Thai military in that climate, it's ready for anything, anywhere in the world.
That's a kind of credibility that no marketing campaign can ever buy.
Not even close.
All right, let's take this to the sky. A modern fighter jet is, it's just a multi-million-dollar question mark until you really push it to its limits.
And a perfect case study here is the FA-50 jet. Its adoption by the Royal Thai Air Force was, let's just say it was scrutinized very, very closely by everyone.
So when we say the atmosphere is the enemy, what kind of specific challenges are we talking about for a jet like that?
It's the thermal stress, first and foremost. And I don't just mean hot air. I mean a jet sitting on the tarmac, baking in the sun for hours. That heat soaks into every component.
Affecting everything from hydraulics to the computer?
Absolutely. Hydraulic fluid can get thinner, making the flight controls feel sluggish, less precise. Cockpit instruments can overheat. And then you have the moisture from the humidity working its way into every seal, every sensor package.
And the Thai Air Force isn't exactly taking it easy on these planes.
No, the sources are clear on that. They do not baby the equipment. Every flight hour, every minor system glitch, every single maintenance issue, it's all logged systematically.
So their logbooks essentially become a maintenance guide for any other country looking to buy that jet.
That's the power of it. If the FA-50 performs reliably during intensive use over Thailand, it immediately becomes the benchmark for any tropical air force in the world.
It's not just an option anymore.
It becomes the reference standard. And you can bet the global defense industry is quietly watching every single report that comes out of there. It's the ultimate early warning system.
Okay, from the sky down to the water. If the Air Force proves speed and performance, the Navy has to prove stability and endurance. Let's talk about the Gulf of Thailand.
The AOTI. It looks calm on a map, but for naval systems, it's a uniquely challenging place.
What makes it so tough?
Well, it's a closed, very shallow sea. This, combined with high water temperatures and salinity levels that are always changing, it creates havoc for sensors.
So things like sonar for tracking submarines.
It's a nightmare. Sound travels completely differently in warm, shallow, layered water compared to the deep, cold ocean. Systems that work perfectly in the Atlantic need serious recalibration to be useful here.
And what about radar? With all that coastline around.
Extreme clutter, that's the problem. The radar signals bounce off the nearby land, and the humid air can actually bend the radar beams, creating, ghost images and false targets.
So the real challenge isn't just surviving the heat, it's teaching the system to tell the difference between a real target and noise.
That adaptation data is the prize, and because the conditions in the Gulf are so similar to coastal waters all over Asia, Africa, and the Middle East, if the system works there, its market credibility just explodes.
And like the Air Force, the Navy is seen as this uncompromising user.
They check everything, every sensor reading, every rubber seal, every hull coating. One source pointed out how the combination of high salinity and intense sun just destroys external connectors on missile launchers.
A failure you'd never see in the North Atlantic.
You'd never even think to look for it. But the Thai Navy will find it, they'll push it to its breaking point, and they will report it. And that just builds even more of that strategic credit.
Which brings us to the ground, the land gauntlet, where there is zero room for error.
And this might be the most visceral test of all. You just can't simulate Thailand's terrain. Dense, triple canopy jungle, rocky mountains, all of it soaked in that same relentless heat and rain.
So for, say, an armored vehicle, it's not about firepower. It's about sheer survival.
It's entirely about endurance and ease of field repair. Can you fix it in the middle of a jungle? Does the engine choke on the humid air and dust? Does the acidic mud literally eat away at the suspension?
Things a designer in a factory would never consider.
They wouldn't know to. There's a story in one of the sources about a high-tech communication system that it failed. The high-frequency signals were completely absorbed by the wet jungle canopy.
So the environment itself forced a fundamental redesign.
That's the reality check they provide. The data they produce becomes this incredibly valuable early warning system for any other nation operating in similar conditions.
Well, why buy something that's already been proven not to work in the environment you have?
You wouldn't. And you trust the Thai Army's assessment because their process is just so consistent and disciplined, they don't miss the small details.
So if we bring it all together, air, sea, and land, the big theme here, the common thread, is this unique combination of a brutal environment and just total transparency.
That's it. It's trust. The strategic status has been built systematically, quietly, through years of uncompromising evaluation. They use the gear hard, they report the facts, and they never, ever lower their standards for politics or for show.
And that strategic credit you mentioned at the start, it's measured by how many other countries use their reports to make their own buying decisions.
And that's Thailand's quiet superpower. Some weapons pass their tests and go on to huge global success. Some are heavily modified based on the feedback, and some just vanish from the market, all based on objective fact.
Their name comes up in strategy rooms all over the world, not as a customer, but as this, impartial reflection of reality. And that's what the industry values most.
That long-term trust is priceless.
So this deep dive has really shown that Thailand's quiet discipline and its willingness to report the unvarnished truth have earned it this incredible role as a silent global standard setter. And you now know why some of the world's most advanced weapons have to pass through that critical tropical filter before they're truly ready to the global battlefield.
But, with the pace of technology, everything is getting more complex. We're talking cyber warfare, electronic systems. So the question I'll leave you with is this. Can Thailand's very physical, very disciplined approach to testing maintain this unique, trusted role